anything?
I'm always doing something. Simon.
I started surfing when I was 11 years old. I think it's important to have some sort of life outside of surfing. Like, it's healthy to have that, but sometimes it's hard.
I say it wasn't an overnight thing. We served our time, or I'd served my time, you know, for 10 years paddling big waves. I was very accustomed to getting smashed and getting good ones.
My dad was one of the first surfers in the UK, so at the age of 5, he gave me a surfboard.
Never really stopped.
Like, some people are like, oh, it's my life, but it actually is. Like, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't surf. It is everything to me, which I'm glad about. It's nice to have that thing.
My standard sort of board that I happen to have a couple off Northcore, which is sort of 6.0 fish kind of style for the UK when it's small.
At the minute I ride 5'10" by 17.5 by 2 1/16.
And then I've just had another one made, which is 6'3" by 19.5 and 2.5 wide.
I ride between a 5'5" and I've got a 7.2 pin. So like anything up, but my normal contest board's 5'11" by 18 by 2 1/4, like pretty simple.
I used to ride real small boards, I just kind of got a bit bigger boards now, got a bit stronger, and makes your turns look bigger.
There's a surf movie called Storm Riders, and there's a couple of guys that are in that. They were sort of, like I say, my heroes, and I managed to beat both of those two, and the waves were ginormous, and I ended up coming second in the event overall, so that was definitely my best ever, I think.
Probably the first comp that was bigger comp that I won was the British Schools, and like I didn't expect to win it at all. I thought, like, I was really happy when I got to the final, and then like when I found out I'd won it, and it was just one of those days that everything came together, and it was just like, and all my family was there and all my friends were there, and it was just like a really good day.
Probably the World Championships in Hossegor. I done the best in the British squad, which I was really pleased about. I couldn't really do much more than what I did. I would have liked to have won it, obviously, but that was a bit of a dream. And I was just really stoked with what I'd done and stuff.
And just this almighty swell seemed to bubble up out of nowhere, really, kind of aiming, bearing down straight on Mullaghmore. No matter whether the film was being made or not, I think we would have been out there surfing regardless. When it came to the crunch, we had about a 3-hour window in that morning, and it was big, and it was perfect for a while, and then the wind got on it. But, you know, I referred to earlier on 60-70 foot waves. It wasn't quite that big, but it was definitely in the 40 to 50 foot. It was thunder and lightning and hailstones and heavy winds, and it was real end of the world stuff. So it kind of was a fitting climax to the film, and we were very lucky to have got it.
That's the beauty of the surf school I've got here with Quicksilver in the UK, is a lot of people have never ever been in the sea before, and after about an hour and a half of being in the sea, you kind of understand what it is like just to stand on a surfboard and feel the water rushing under your feet, and some of those corny cliches, but yeah, it's a pretty amazing experience, and it's also a healthy experience. You know, it's good for fitness, and I think that's why we're finding a lot of girls getting involved in the sport. You know, they like the fitness side of it, and also it's just once you get hooked, it turns into a lifestyle pretty much. Is what I'd probably say to them.
There's not one surf spot which is the same, not even a day that you surf which is the same. You play tennis or something like that, you could just play on the same court every single day. Court's a court, innit? It doesn't really change, whereas the waves just always changing, the ocean's always changing, and it's completely out of our control. That's what I like about it.
I want to make English girls be recognised as surfers that are actually good, because a lot of girls in the world that surf wouldn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go and check the surf on a wintry morning. Like, they wouldn't do that.
Surfing's a waiting game, as you know. You know, maybe a winter will go by and you might not get that perfect day, but you know, when it hits, hopefully we can go even bigger, discover better waves, new waves, and just get bigger and bigger the whole time. But it's really to stay focused, fit, and keep your equipment in check and keep yourself together. And a friend of mine said it's madness, but it's calculated madness. So I think that's a good way to go into the future for me anyway.
There's one bit you might need to cut out. The bit where I said
Port 11. That's not a secret spot. There's not many secret spots left in the world, I believe.
I was going to go for
Oh, I can talk for longer if you need.
Do you want me to do that?